Chlorides are another problem that can occur. Now, we have chloride problems from mining of salt deposits, from the drilling of gas wells when we go through the sweet water into the brine that's further in the ground, but more importantly, from the storage of de-icing materials. We've recognized in the past that the storage of salt in the open is not good. We're also finding out that the storage of sand-salt mixtures is also a problem. And it may actually be a greater problem because we do not get crusting over of the salt, so that we always have a solution of brine in the sand-salt pile that can be flushed out with the next thaw or rain event. What are we going to do to solve the problem? Well, fortunately, the problem is manageable, and if we take actions, we will see a benefit. The state is in the process of mapping all of the aquifers in New York State. The primary aquifers are being mapped in great detail so that we'll know where the recharge areas, where the wellhead areas are, where the potential sources of pollution could come from, what the uses are. The principal aquifers are not mapped to the same detail. In this case, we're only mapping the valley fill aquifers and giving you an indication as to what the rate is and the yield would be if wells were drilled. It's very generalized information. We also want to monitor for the condition of the groundwater. We currently require the public water systems to be monitored at the well, and the Department of Environmental Conservation requires, as part of their permitting process, monitoring at facilities that have the potential to impact the groundwater, whether it be landfills or wastewater treatment systems or now underground petroleum tanks. Not much is being done at the current time for ambient monitoring of the groundwater, that portion of the groundwater that would be between the source of potential contamination and the source of withdrawal. Local government also has a role in providing information about the resource. For those small communities that do not get maps from the state, there's a need to map it locally. Recognizing that the local municipality does not have the expertise to look at the groundwater in detail, it is still beneficial to draw an arbitrary circle around the source of water and to map potential impacts, where the well is, where the salt piles are, where the landfills are, where the gas stations are, where industries may be using chemicals. If nothing is there now, this information can also be used for future planning purposes, for future development. We can protect the resource by a regulatory process. The bulk storage laws that regulate petroleum tanks probably is going to have a major impact on future groundwater conditions. This is a new regulation that took effect 2 years ago, and the main course of the activity really only took effect 1 year ago. That law now requires that all underground storage tanks over 1,100 gallons be tested periodically. New installations must meet new criteria for double containment, either a double-walled tank or a tank within a lined area so that there is a warning if a leak should occur. We also require monitoring around the tank. There will be new regulations on landfills coming out shortly. We have a hazardous waste program that requires manifestation of this waste so that we track it from where it's generated to where it's disposed of. Wastewater treatment plants are regulated with discharge permits. We license oil and gas wells. Pesticide applicators have to be licensed. And we also set standards. Using information developed by the health department that tells us what the potential impact is on human health, we then try to set regulations that would control the discharge materials that may impact the resource. Local government also has tools available to it to prevent or to minimize future impact on the resource. You could own the land in fee title around your well. It sounds simple, but it doesn't always occur. If the area is too great to control in fee title, certainly we can control what goes on that land through zoning and building permits. We can also set special standards within certain areas that may be more severe than the state limits to protect that valuable resource. But because all of us have limited resources, we have to focus our attention. And we really should give priority to the wellhead area. After we've satisfied that, we should handle the recharge area if they're known. It's important to go after the wellhead area because basically contaminants that fall in the wellhead that do not decompose and eventually get into the groundwater will find their ways into the well, and we will consume that material. And if it's a harmful material, we'll consume that harmful material. And it's much cheaper, both in human resources and money, to prevent the problem from occurring. Anyone that has been involved with groundwater remediation knows that the cost is astronomical. It's very difficult because the length of time it takes for the product to move in the soil, the fact we can't see it, we don't know where it's going, and we may be without water for an extended period of time while we clean up the aquifer. For those communities that have a single well, this is critical. Where we do have problems, we have to respond. We have to go in, clean it up, and take action. We can't wait. We do have a spill response program in New York State, managed in the Department of Environmental Education, to respond to petroleum spills. Local government also gets involved with spills in that they're normally the first on the scene. They can switch to alternative water sources or shut off their pumping for a while to keep from sucking it into the well, because it does make a difference if you respond quickly. Keep it from sinking into the ground if possible. Spills can occur anywhere. No one is immune from the potential adverse impact of a spill on their drinking water system, whether it be a homeowner or a municipality or an industry. Accidents occur everywhere. We have leaking tanks that occur everywhere. And we are certainly paying for past mistakes. Hopefully we have learned from these mistakes and we will not do them again in the future. It's important that we work together. Everyone has a part in this. We can all interchange ideas and use other people's expertise. And if we do this, we'll be able to keep our renewable resource of clean groundwater, which we all need to live. Thank you.